pasta night. I love anything pasta, and especially baked pasta, and that's what I'm gonna make tonight. We're gonna be making what's called rigatoni pie, and it's got very few ingredients, stuff that you probably already have around in your kitchen. It's easy to whip up. We're gonna start by cooking a pound of rigatoni and browning some ground meat. I'm gonna start browning about a pound of ground beef, and while I do that, I'm heating some water to boil the pasta. Okay, the hamburger is ground. I'm gonna add a jar of pasta sauce. You can use any kind that you want. And a half a cup of water. We're gonna mix that all together and then just let it sit and simmer while the pasta cooks. You'll wanna be sure to cover it just so you're not wearing pasta sauce the rest of the night. All right, while the sauce simmers, the water is boiling, so I'm gonna go ahead and dump the whole box into the pan and give it a quick stir. The box directions say to cook the rigatoni for about 13 to 15 minutes. You wanna undercook it by about a minute or two just so it's really stiff when it goes in the pan. Okay, while that's cooking, make sure that you have preheated your oven to 400 degrees. You don't wanna forget that step because we're gonna be baking the pasta. While that's all cooking, we're going to mix together a container of cottage cheese. You can use any kind. I prefer the small curd. You could also use ricotta cheese if you'd rather, but cottage cheese is something that we tend to have around in the refrigerator that wouldn't cause another run to the store. You're gonna mix that with an egg. We're gonna mix that together, and we'll just wait for everything to cook. All right, the rigatoni's done. I'm gonna take it over and drain it. Then I'm gonna rinse it with cold water just to kind of stop the cooking and cool it down a little bit. Once you've rinsed your pasta, you're gonna put it back in your pan. I took it off the heat for this part. And then you're going to use about a tablespoon of olive oil just to coat it to keep it from sticking to each other. Get a good stir. And then you're going to stir in your cup of Parmesan cheese. Grated Parmesan works the best. Now we're ready to put the rigatoni in the pan. Now this is a great recipe if you want to get really fancy. You can make it in a 9-inch springform pan, because when it's done baking, then you can take the sides off and it stands up and it looks fantastic. But I don't have a springform pan, so this is going to be close enough. And you can see through it, so it'll still be impressive. You're going to take the pasta and you're going to stack it as best you can, noodle side up. And you're just going to line the pan. All right, so I've got my rigatoni all set up in my pan. It really didn't take all that long, and the more you get in there, the easier it is to stand them up. If you're in a hurry, just load the pan up. That works too. So your next step is to take your cottage cheese and just spread it on top. We're just gonna press it down in there so it gets in between the noodles and down in the noodles. All right, next is the sauce. You'll just spoon it on top. I used a really big jar of sauce because that's what we had. You could use a smaller jar of sauce. I'm just gonna save any leftovers I have for an easy spaghetti dinner on another night this week when I don't feel like cooking. Now I'm going to put it in the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes. Right, timer went off, 15 minutes. Time to take it out, put some more cheese on it, and then we'll bake it a little bit longer. We're going to add some more mozzarella cheese to the top. That's about 2 cups. Back in the oven for another 15 minutes and we'll be ready to go. Yummy. Okay, we're gonna cut it and see what happens. So first I'm just gonna take a knife, kind of run it along the edge just to break it up. And then just cut it into squares. This is where that springform pan would come in handy because then it would be easy to slice and dip out, but we're just gonna get in there and do it. Yeah. There you go. Looks delicious. Thanks for watching today's episode. Please subscribe and consider giving us a thumbs up. And don't forget, the ingredients are always listed in the comments below. Check back tomorrow for more close enough cooking.